past Vekoma by 2. Network Effect is trying hard, but Vekoma is a colt with serious promise as he scores in the Nashua.
The three of them across the track. Tanks on the inside. Our brain trust, not that Brady, fights on between those two. These three coming down to the line in the winners, and Tax does it. And here's HAIKAL making a late run on the extreme outside. They come for the finish. It is HAIKAL to win the Gotham.
Up on the outside, running is outshine now, gaining ground, and toward the rail is Lord Dragon. Down to the wire, it's TACITUS going to the front. TACITUS strikes to the lead. TACITUS to win the Tampa Bay Derby.
C.Simmons with you here at the CS Racing Report Road to the Roses series, and it is prime time on the road to the Kentucky Derby, Super Saturday, with the Wood Memorial, the Bluegrass Stakes, and the Santa Anita Derby from the Great Race Place out in Arcadia, California. And let's quickly get into the Wood Memorial. $750,000 would have been $1 million race if Grade 1 winner Mind Control had entered, but Greg Sacco decided after the Gotham Stakes, after his runner-up effort there, to cut back in distance and run in the undercard race, the Bayshore Stakes for 3-year-olds, so he'll be running there. He's off the Derby trail, unfortunately. But a field of 11 dropped their names in the hat for this 9-furlong event, and let's take a look at the post positions. Number 1 is the Withers winner, Tax. He was 3rd in the Remsen Stakes in November during the Thanksgiving period, behind Maximus Mischief, who's off the Derby trail, and Network Effect, who passed him in the last 50 yards to get the place spot. Ran a very, very good race. He's a son of Arch. He came back after a slow start in the Withers Stakes and was able to slip through on the rail and win that blanket finish over Our Brain Trust and Not That Brady, showing a little bit of courage and tenacity and the ability to go inside and to overcome trouble. He's 9-2 coming out of post 1 for trainer Danny Gargan. Number 2 is out of the Bill Mott barn. He is the Tampa Bay Derby winner, Tacitus. He's 5-2. He, of course, broke his maiden at Aqueduct, so he returns to the scene of his second most notorious crime. Won the Tampa Bay Derby in a stakes record-winning time. He's 5-2 in 3 lifetime starts. He's had 2 wins with 1 4th-place finish, and that was in his initial start. And by the way, Tax, his record is in 4 starts, 2 wins, 1 second, 1 third. So the first 2 horses very, very consistent in terms of their race record. The number 3 is a horse that's getting a lot of sizzle, creating a lot of sizzle. Only 1 start, a little bit like Hidden Scroll, and he was very impressive in that start at Laurel. His name is Hoffa's Union. He's 6-1, and he won that race at Laurel on the 28th of February by 15.5 lengths. He posted a 95 Beyer speed figure. He was then transferred in a sale from the Gary Capuano of Captain Bodgett fame from the 1997 Triple Crown, runner-up to Silver Charm in that Derby, 3rd in the Preakness on his home track at Pimlico. Gary Capuano and the connections to Hoffa's Union ended up, there was a deal made with the connections associated with Mark Cassey. He's in Cassey's barn now. He is, of course, 1-for-1 career-wise. He's 6-1, and he's going to definitely get some play at the windows coming out of post 3. Number 4 is the Gotham winner, HAIKAL. He is trained by Kieran McLaughlin out of the Shadwell Stables. He's a son of Dar. Some people are wondering if that pedigree is going to carry him over these route distances. He's 7-2 in 4 lifetime starts. He has 3 wins and 1 second. He won the Jimmy Winkfield, which is the prep for the Gotham Stakes, and then he won the Gotham in that dramatic finish, coming on the outside, roaring up to pass Mind Control, Instagram, and much better. A very impressive performance, but people are still questioning whether the distance is going to really be something that he will relish, and he's going to certainly have an opportunity to find out coming out of post number 4 at 7-2. Number 5 is Final Jeopardy out of the hot Jason Service barn. Remember, he was at about that 40% plus winning clip at Gulfstream Park, won the Florida Derby with maximum security. He's 8-1. He's a stalk and pouncer type of horse. He was first in a 1-mile allowance at Gulfstream Park, so he comes in with a little bit of forward momentum and back class. He's 8-1 in 3 lifetime starts, 2 wins, 1 second. Number 6 is Over Deliver. He's a son of Overanalyze, who was trained by Todd Pletcher and owned by Mike Rapoli and his conglomerate. And of course, the same connections exist for this horse. And he, of course, was second after a bad start to Win, who will be running in the Bluegrass in the Pasco Stakes at Tampa. In 2 lifetime starts, he's 1-1-0, 1 win, 1 second. He still finished second in that race, even though he was well beaten. It'll be very interesting if stretching out is going to be something that he will benefit from. He is 20-1 though at the odds, so obviously for those who have faith in him, they will get a little bit of play. Of course, that's a morning line odds making, or that's a morning line number there, so we'll see what happens. Not That Brady, who was disappointing in the Gotham Stakes. He finished 8th and last in that event. Did not run particularly well. He's a front-running horse. He just didn't get into the bridle that day, and I think people expect him to perform. They expected him to perform better in the Gotham, cutting back from the 9 furlongs of the Withers. He gets an opportunity, one more opportunity here at the 9 furlong route to prove that the Gotham was a toss. He's 20-1 though, just like Over Deliver. So we'll see if that speed, he can deliver the speed and then carry it. Number 8 is Grump's Little Tots. He's another one out of the Jason Service Barn. In 4 lifetime starts, he has 1 win, 2 seconds, and 1/3, so he's never been off the board. He's 30-1 though, coming out of post 8. Post 9 is Math Wizard. He's 30-1 in 7 lifetime starts, 2 wins, 1 second, and 2/3. So he's, been in the money 5 out of 7 times. He was second in a 1 mile allowance at Gulfstream Park just a few weeks ago. So let's see if he can, perhaps light up the tote board and make something happen in this 2019 Wood Memorial. Number 10 is one of the favorites in this race. He's still 6-1. His name is Outshine. He was the runner-up to Tacitus in the Tampa Bay Derby. He broke his maiden in May of 2018. Then he was 5th in the Tremont Stakes. He won an allowance on the 19th of February at Gulfstream Park prior to his prior to his runner-up finish in the Tampa Bay Derby. There are some people that thought he should have finished better. They were disappointed. I thought that it was a solid performance on a demanding racetrack, and I've mentioned in previous podcasts that demanding surface of Tampa should get a horse fit enough, if they're not completely fatigued, to run very, very well on racetracks away from Tampa. I expect Outshine to run very, very well in here, and he's giving you value at 6-1. I think the wise, handicappers and even the savvy public at Aqueduct will probably lower his odds, or it very well could stay at 6 and maybe go up to double digits. He is definitely a value play, but I think it's safe to say, or maybe it's not, but I think that my hunch is that he'll be one of the top 2 or 3 choices. He'll be coming out of post 10. Number 11 is Greg Sacco's other 3-year-old. He's taking the place of Mind Control. His name is Jovia. He is a horse that was second to HAIKAL in the Jimmy Wingfield, but he was drilled in the private terms. He got beat pretty convincingly in that race, but the winner was kind of loose on the lead, and so that's one of those scenarios where that's probably not going to happen in this race. And if the distance seems to be something that he will appreciate, then he should be able to have some impact in this Wood Memorial. He's coming in here with sort of longer odds. He's about 15-20-1, and so that number may drop. A lot of people like Greg Sacco and the way he handles his horses, and he's going to get an opportunity to qualify for the Kentucky Derby right here. So when looking at the 11 horses in this race, obviously everybody wants to know, who do I like in this 11 horse field? Well, I think there's 3 scenarios. You know me, I don't always narrow it down to one initially. So I'll throw some numbers out there for you that you might find interesting. Scenario number 3, I'm picking the 1 tax to be able to either track the front running speed, because I think Not That Brady will flash. There'll be some upfront speed, and he's going to either go wire to wire, or he's going to rate and then be able to overtake whoever he's stalking and win this race. The number 2 Tacitus will finish second. Then I have the number 4, which would be HAIKAL, coming on to finish third, and then the number 7, which would be Not That Brady, actually holding up on the front end. That's kind of a little bit of my upset special. The front runners actually being able to sort of semi-dominate this race. That's scenario number 3. Scenario number 2 is where the 10 horse, that would be Outshine, turns the tables on Tacitus and wins this race. The 10, the 2, the 4, HAIKAL finishing third, and then the number 1 tax finishing fourth. A little bit of a Remsen kind of scenario almost, but I have the 10, the 2, the 4, and the 1. The 10, of course, being Outshine, winning the Wood Memorial. And then the scenario that I think will ultimately happen, I have a lot of faith in TACITUS. I think he's the Tapit that wants that extra distance. He's tactical. I think he's handy. He's shown that he can overcome trouble. You certainly don't want to encourage it or have that to occur, but I think he'll make a big run. I think that the Tampa race got him fit enough to really be able to bounce over that Aqueduct racetrack where he's already been successful. And he should appreciate the distance, and we'll see what happens if he can do what Hidden Scroll couldn't do for a second time. Because remember, the week after Hidden Scroll failed in the Fountain of Youth, TACITUS was able to go on and be very impressive in winning the Tampa Bay Derby. So that's my final pick. The two TACITUS, the 10, Outshine finishing second, a repeat or reprise of the Tampa Bay Derby, the number 1, Tax finishing third, and the number 4, HAIKAL coming on to finish fourth, which obviously that may or may not be able to qualify him for the Kentucky Derby.
Into the stretch, and it is not that Brady off the turn in front. Our Trust bearing down, Taxes intact toward the inside, trying to squeeze on through here. Coming to the final 16th, our Brain Trust, Not That Brady, and Tax on the inside. The 3 of them across the track. Tax on the inside. Our Brain Trust, Not That Brady, fights on between those 2. These 3 coming down to the line in the winners, and Tax does it. Tax by a head on the wire.
They're into the stretch. It's still Sinden trying to hang on. Win is way out on the outside. Up on the outside, running his Outshine, now gaining ground and toward the rail is Lord Dragon. Down to the wire, it's TACITUS going to the front. TACITUS strikes to the lead. TACITUS to win the Tampa Bay Derby. Outshine is their second.